Okay, here's what I decided to go with. I'm going to make these. They're small channels. I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to put one on there, put one on there, one on there, and one on there, and just do them in the middle there, so there'll be 4 in total. Then I'll run the wiring back along here, and I'll run it down there, and I'll put a hole through there, a hole through there, a hole through there, and a hole through there. And that'll just go all the way underneath the table, and that'll be holes. These here are just flash, so I'll clean those off. Should have cleaned maybe those as well, we'll see. Anyway, we'll do a little bit of work on that. Then underneath the table, I'll join all of these together. I'll have to figure out what I'm using for conduit. Now, how did I make these? Now you may be wondering how I made these little guys. What I did is I took, it's one of these bags, Evergreen scale model, rectangular tube, 0.25 by 0.375. Cut off some 3-inch strips, which got me this. The next thing was cut it along there. So to cut it along there, what I did is I carefully measured with my ruler here. To get the midpoint as best I could. And then I cut a notch in there. So the center point now has a notch in it. Then I took my little saw here and I cut through the notch a little better. And for the hard part, you can line these guys up. I find I can do a little more sewing on the back one. You can rock it a bit to keep finding those notches. It'll help you to finally develop enough of a cut you won't be able to see there likely, but it's enough of a cut now. There's a spot for the saw. Now I can get through that. So to show you again, we mark the center at the end. Not half through. that half through. So now we're through. Now I just take it to my square up sanding block and sand it. And there's the finish up sanding here on the edges. Those done. Check these, did these earlier, but just to make sure. Just a reminder, here's what the lights look like. And they fit just in there perfectly. Now the next thing for these is I'm going to prime them. In order to prime them, grab this, masking tape. And I put enough masking tape to go all the way across here. And I grab some of my tape that I took off prior. Put that on where I want it to be. Put that around to hold it. Do the same about here. That's that. I'm going to do the undersides first, so we'll go point, boink, boink, boink. Yeah, that's good. And then I grab my rattle can of Ultra Cover Primer Gray. So this looks like that. I'm going to let that dry, then we'll flip these over and do the top side. And then those will be done. Then I just have to, now I got to figure out wiring. There, I flipped them over and painted the back side. I'll give that an hour or so to dry, and then I'll figure out how to mount lights and wiring and everything else. The work crew's been in. We removed this corky pavement stuff in there. Kind of redrawn the road a little. It's going to angle more across this way, and then where the red is, come in here. Around there we get a bit of clearance there, and you know, just trying to make enough clearance so that it's maybe a little reasonable. I'm gonna put a part of the parking will go back to there. This needs to be glued in still, and then this will be, yeah, I may do more gravel back here, we'll see. Similarly around these guys, we'll do gravel or whatever the scenery is going to be there. These light guys are now painted. As I say, they're going to go along there like that. And then on the outside wall it'll be like that. Lights will fit inside the channels here, go down. Now the issue is, what about wiring for them? Well, what I've got is this. It's 1/8 inch tube. So what I'll do is I'll put a piece of wire in, or put this in, just along the top there. It'll run to the back, and then already put a hole all the way to the bottom of the table. So I'll just run this to the bottom, and just looking at this is a broken piece here. Yeah, it's been fixed anyway. And then yeah, cut it at an angle or something. I've already checked wiring. Wiring will fit through, so that's fine. These all need to dry. I think these I'll wait until they're installed, and then I'll paint them in place on there. This is how I'm going to do lights in the roundhouse. What I did is, I think you saw before, I took this channel, cut it in half, and there's LEDs in there. I took some, whatever size that was, just round styrene, cut it, did a 45-degree angle, and the wires running in there and running down. You can see that's being held in place still. If you look under the table, you can see here's one of them coming through here. You see all those white things in there. Those are where the lights are coming down. So I just have to tie these together and then tie that into power. There's lots of things that need to be tied into power, but just wanted to show how that's in there. Now I'm going to paint these. These need a bit of touch up as well. And this one's at a bit of an angle, but I can't do them. Oh, maybe I can leverage that down a bit. It's a bit of an angle. Let's see if I can work on that. All right, that loosened enough that I was able to reposition it. So it looks nice and level to me now. Now we just have to really leave all this stuff in here to dry. That's an overnight thing. Which means I'm pretty much done for today. Everything's all glued into place here. These of course shouldn't be white. So I've got this here neutral gray there, and I'm just gonna see what it's like to brush on. Now what I figure is, because this is styrene, it's not gonna take a ton of paint. It's going to take a couple of coats to do this. So if you like watching painting, that's what's going on for the next little while. What I really want to do here is just get a bit of a coat on. So that dries, and I can then get another coat on. Now, nobody should be looking at this real close, so it doesn't have to be great. It just needs to hide the glaring white. Now, the other thing I noticed is this is a darker gray, so I'm going to go get a little bit of black. A hunk of gray here. Put it in there. Get a hunk of black. Mix that together. Gray. So it looks like that. I'm going to use that. And I want a little bit of water. Too thick. So you can see the guys there. Well, they're not uber visible because they're painted. They're kind of hidden the way I want them to be. As a recap, this building is glued down, lit. This guy's on magnets, 1 light, 3 lights on magnets, 3 lights under, 3 lights on top, magnets. Free form. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything with him. As we go around here, I'm really happy the way the weathering went on this guy. He has 2 lights in him, so he needs 3 volts. Single light, 2 lights, 2 lights, no light. Because there's no way for light to come out. 3 lights, 6 lights, and this one's on magnets. And that's everything on this table. The next thing that we'll have to do is this will all dry, then we'll separate this table from table 3 over there and table 1 down there, fold the legs up under here, turn it on its side, and probably put it on a short table so I can work on all the wiring underneath, which is all hanging down in there.